Hello grade 12s. I thought I would go back to making these videos to sort of give you a little bit more instruction as to the important concepts that I want you to go through the workbook in. So we have now completed the probability unit and we are now on to the next unit of focus, which will be chapter 3 in our workbook, renting accommodations. So we're taking a look at places that we can rent out to live. And then in the next chapter, we're going to be taking a look at buying options. So taking a look at mortgages and how we can afford to buy our own places later on in life. So what I'd like you to do is take a look at this opening page here. We've got two people here. One guy's very, very excited to leave, free at last, free at last. And the other person, his friend here, is worried about exactly what does free mean. So I want you to really think about this in terms of where you might be in your life right now. So maybe you're going off to university or college, or maybe you're planning on moving out when you graduate at some point. So this unit will become very relevant to you. So what I want you to do is I'm going to go through some of the questions that I'd like you to try. If there's a concept that I feel that I need to go over, I'll go over that quickly with you in this video. So I want you to take a look at the opening questions here just to get your mind focused on what we're going to be talking about. So I would like you to answer the first question. What are some freedoms that come with living on your own? Number 2, what are some of the financial responsibilities that come with living on your own? So what sort of money aspects do we have to think about when we're going to be living on our own? And number 3, what issues not related to money might you have to deal with when you live on your own? For now, I'm going to have you skip these pages here where we're talking about research. So maybe we'll come back to this at a later date, perhaps in the form of an assignment. But for right now, we're just going to skip the next couple of pages. So this one we are also going to skip. So now we are on to 3.1, what is available. So some important prerequisite skills that we need to take a look at would be the warm-up questions. So number 1 and number 2 are questions that deal with us finding out someone's wages. So for this or for these questions, we're trying to find out the weekly wages that someone would work if they made $15 an hour. Okay, number 3 and number 4 also very important. So taking 25% of whatever amount this works out to be per week. So the 25%, the 30% could be we're taking that percentage out for taxes, or we're taking that percentage out to put into a savings account. So as an example, if I wanted to take a look at taking 25% of $120, remember when we are looking at percentages, we want to take a look at them in decimal form. So 25% would be 0.25. And when we're taking a percentage, if you remember from when we looked at the tax unit, you're going to be multiplying the numbers together. So 120 times 0.25. And in the end, you're going to get something along the lines of $30. So that would be $30 that we're taking for taxes, or $30 that maybe we're putting into a savings account. So you should know and remember how to do those types of questions. I would like you to go ahead and do question number 5. You can skip question number 6 and question number 7 and question number 8. We should remember how to do those ones as well. Going further down the page, these next couple of questions are going to be reflective questions sort of relating to your personal situation at this moment or in the future. So what I'd like you to take a look at is question number 1, taking a look at the different types of places to rent. So it gives you here some examples of the types of places that you might be able to rent. Perhaps you'd like to add more to the list here. I don't want you to check your local newspaper, but do brainstorm and add any places that are not listed here. So when we are ready to move out, we're looking to find a place that meets most of our needs. So here's a few needs that you might want to consider when you are looking to rent or move out of your current house. Think about which needs pertain closely to you, especially if you're considering moving out for college or some sort of post-secondary education after high school. I want you to think about, so we're going to take a look at question number 2. I want you to think about what streets or neighborhoods in your community would best suit your choices. Or if it's not in your community, think about where you're going to be next year and what area would best suit these types of needs. Also, I want you to take a look at what life events could make you reevaluate your choices. So perhaps something happens in your life where you need to move because you are no longer meeting your needs at a certain place. I want you to also think about your dream place to live. So this place doesn't necessarily have to be in Canada. It could be in a different country. But I want you to think of things that are important to you for your choices, such as the size of your room or being close to stores or your friends. I also want you to take a look at B, which of the things in part A are the most important to you, and explain why. Moving on to question 4, we're taking a look at how much money should we look at paying for rent each month. So some financial planners suggest that monthly rent should not be greater than your net weekly income. So remember that your net income is with all of your deductions taken off. So all of your taxes have already been taken off. So the net is the amount in the bank. Remember that. In the bank. Okay, so for example, if you are paid 4 times in a month, monthly rent should not be greater than blank percentage of your net monthly income. So remember that they suggest that your monthly rent should not be greater than 1 week's worth of pay. So therefore, our net monthly income should not be more than 25% of our net monthly income if we get paid 4 times every month. Okay, so for question number 5, to be able to afford $600 in monthly rent, how much would we have to earn per week? So remember, our monthly rent should be at least 1 week's salary. So therefore, we would have to earn $600 net per week. So that's how much money should be going into our bank account every single week in order for us to afford that. So I'd like you to try B, C, and D by yourself. So taking a look at the money and perhaps the wages that we need to earn in order to afford the places that we would like to rent. Okay, I'd like you to take a look at E and 6 as well. Again, taking a look at some of those calculations. Moving on to the next page, 7 would be a good question to try for practice. 8 would also be another great question for practice. Number 9, number 10. And number 10 goes on. And there is a D to question number 10 that you should also have answered. So those are the questions that I would like you to take a look at from 3.1. If you run into any problems, please feel free to ask me. And if there is a particular question that you'd like me to work through, either I can do that with you in class or I could work it through on a video for you if there isn't enough time. All right, thank you.